Today on How It's Made.
Brobot.
Airboats. Onions.
And there was 4 of us boys. You didn't have running water. You caught your water off the roof of the house. Drinking water. It's a lot different.
We're all in the same boat, fishing in the same hole, wonder where the same time goes. We're all in the same boat.
For our software, we went with one giant state machine for the entire course, with separate states for each task that it had to do. We also had an additional separate state machine for the drive function, which was dependent on 2. We originally had 3 QRDs, but then found it easier to work with just 2 and cases in the state machine for when each sensor was sensing.
Pretty awesome as well. We got a customized PCB. As you can see, we got the QRDs all hooked up with the resistors and whatnot. This has been really good for line following, as well as on the right side we have the task detection QRD, and on the left we have the QRD set to find arc. The PCB worked really well for the most part.
PCB we have, if you take a look, most of it's ground, so.
Pretty cool about our robot is it's pretty much one layer, but it is really low to the ground, which we really liked, particularly because the QRDs can sense better, but also we feel like it just makes turning better. So that's a really awesome feature of our robot is it's a low rider.
This guy, excellently 3D printed. What else? It's got a spear for warding off criminal.
Finished robot, as you can see, it's fully 3D printed base from Andrew, the wizard, and 3D printed basket as well. We did have a couple of shorts. It's very difficult to solder onto this piece of hardware, so I would maybe reconsider using one of these in the future, or maybe having a backup and just making sure that it's done well the very first time you make it.
One thing that we could have worked on a lot more was versioning our code. We were really good at this at the start of the project. Towards the very end, when we were just kind of cramming, trying to get it all finished up, we got the robot to a pretty good point. As you see in this video that's fast forwarded, it ran the course successfully. Not all the tasks were done exactly right, but it was pretty good. But what ended up happening was as we continued to edit the code without versioning it, things started to break, and then we didn't know which things broke, and so we tried to return back to the old code, but it never really was the same, and so that's why on test day we had some struggles. And so going back, if I were to do it again, we would have been more careful so that we could have had a much better result. So.
IR sensor. We only got one of these bad boys. Mini groups have 2, which was our original idea, but we could only do it with the 1 consistently, so that's what we went with. If we were going to do it again, we'd probably find a way to make it work with the right sensor as well, just so we could get through extra quick.